Jet planes in the night sky with you.
Fine, everybody's fine. Okay, I hope that everybody's
Getting
fine.
high in the sunrise with you. Getting through all the bad times with you. I wasn't missing a thing, no I do. And I wish that I could put a time machine.
It requires that people have a mastery of English. Okay, so let me fix this. This is a Facebook Live video, so it's not something that I pre-recorded. So I'm sorry for all this stuff here that is not all well organized. But I hope that people are going to take it. People are going to understand what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and maybe that they are going to take it seriously. So I want to start by saying that I'm very happy to be here once again. It's a great honor for me to be here. It's a great opportunity for me to be here. I didn't particularly prepare something to talk about today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Christmas, but not exactly Christmas in a philosophical way or in a linguistics way. I just wanted to talk about it in a very common way, which means that I wanted to talk about Christmas in a way that is going to track everybody, basically. Anybody who's basically trying to understand Christmas from a very common understanding, especially in Haiti. I just wanted to cover that, and I also wanted to do this live today, which is Christmas Eve today, based on that. Okay, that's something we should really expect. It's very difficult to expect that. I'm sorry for if you're listening to background music here. It's not only in my house, but it's all around. People are just listening to music. People are just crazy. I close the door of my house, the door of my room, as I don't know. I close them, but there's so many sounds outside that it's finally get through. Okay, finally get through. So, as I said, I'm not gonna speak Haitian. I'm not gonna speak English only today. I'm gonna be speaking other languages rather than English. I'm gonna be using Haitian Creole a little bit, and I'm gonna be using what do you call? I'm gonna be using English at the end to talk about the things that I deeply care about. Okay, remember the last live that I did on Facebook 3 years ago? I talk about the importance of mankind in civilization. I talk about William Blake, which is a fantastic poet and British author, who has written a lot of books, especially poetry. William Blake is a fantastic poet, and he wrote a poem that I'm very passionate about, that I'm very fascinated by this poem. It talks about the different hypocrisy, the different facets of the human behavior, the human mind, the human heart, the human being, the very fabric of the human being. There are different facets of that and different ways to really appreciate that exactly. So I basically talk about William Blake in this poem, wonderful poem that I did. And I'm just going to continue with two poets, a female poet and an American female poet and a British poet that I really, really appreciate his style of writing. We're not going to talk about the human being, but we're still going to be talking about the human being, but we're not going to talk about the human being from a very existential standpoint. We're going to talk about the human being from a very, I would say, from a very common social, standpoint. So we're not going to question human beings from a very metaphysical stance. We're basically gonna question human being from a very social stance, which means that the thing that we should do in our society, and the way that people interpret, trying to use their code for communication, and whenever they just want to put themselves together. That's a hell of a thing, right? That's amazing to do. That's amazing to see, and everywhere in the world. But I guess that I want to spend a lot of time just talking about that, and it's quite an interesting thing. You know, the last time that I was doing this, I think I was doing this live, and I talk about somebody that I deeply interested in, and basically I said that William Blake is, when you take the poem of William Blake, if you watch the last episode, the last video, well, that's going to be fantastic. You're going to understand what I'm saying here. But if you did not watch it, let me try to depict the picture of the last video. Stephen Crane is an American author in the late 19th century. Stephen Crane is basically wrote a poem which is A Man Said to the Universe. Basically, if I have to say it off my head, right on the bat, I would say, a man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." Then the universe replied, "The sense of you, of your existence, does not make you legitimate. Does not make you legitimate to be part of the universe." So Stephen Crane basically was questioning the relationship between mankind and the universe, right? Mankind is us, the species here, made of, soul and everything, and the universe is basically something that is greater than us, right? And the universe, we are part of the universe. We're actually experiencing the universe, or the universe is experiencing us. And Stephen Crane is saying is that we don't, universe does not owe us a lot of stuff. We owe the universe a lot of stuff, respect, obligation, etc. And we have to act according to the law, to the inherent law of the universe. If not, we're going to destroy ourselves. That's what happened with climate change in the world. The atmosphere is basically being ruined by the presence, the omnipresence of man, the exploitation of man of the nature. So Stephen Crane is saying that the universe does not have a lot of obligation to mankind. It's the reversed, right? It's mankind that has the obligation to mankind, because mankind is part of the universe. The mankind is a sub part of the universe, and therefore mankind should act accordingly. Okay, so this is the idea of Stephen Crane in his poem "A Man Said to the Universe" that I covered. It basically talks about the relationship between mankind and the relationship between mankind and basically the responsibility of mankind to the universe, and the lack, or so quote unquote lack, of responsibility between mankind and between the universe and mankind. Okay, if you zoom out of the Earth, you take all the different planets in the whole world. There are about 9 or 10 planets, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to zoom out this planet. I'm going to zoom out the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, because we live in a galaxy. It's a Milky Way galaxy. There are a lot of galaxies. There are billions of galaxies all around the world. You zoom out the Earth, you zoom out the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and then you basically, from a very epistemological standpoint, you might see that there isn't a lot of differences between a man, I say man, I'm talking about the mankind, and a so-called animal. There's not a clear differences. There's not a clear difference between, the border is not that clear between human and non-human from a very, 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 very elevated standpoint in the whole universe. So Stephen Crane is telling us that the universe has no obligation to us. On the contrary, we have obligation to the universe. That's a fantastic idea. If you're reading the poem of Stephen Crane, that's an interesting idea, and you can really learn a lot with him. He has a lot of books. especially about poetry, the American poetry, and the English poetry in the 19th century. So you can find a lot of stuff there, and I deeply recommend this guy because this guy is so fantastic, and you're always gonna find something new with him, and it's always gonna be great learning stuff with him. So the thing that I'm gonna be doing today is gonna be a little bit different, right? I'm gonna be talking about I'm gonna be talking about an American author, which is a woman. It's a woman. Basically, it's one of my favorite poet. Her name is Emily Dickinson. Okay, Emily Dickinson. I'm gonna read her poem with I guess one stanza, right? And then I am gonna try to put together the words that she uses there in the poem, and how she makes she basically uses it in order to form, a beautiful language, and talk about things that really, really matter in our society, which is about the truth, right? What is the truth? This is a very difficult question to answer. Even philosophically speaking, the philosophers they haven't found the right definition of the truth, and people are always searching for the truth. So the truth is a very interesting matter. But I'm going to read a brief introduction to Emily Dickinson, so that if you really want to check her out, she's a brilliant American author. You're gonna find a lot of stuff. Gonna be very interesting if you're really interested in poetry and literature and history, especially American poetry. You can find a lot of stuff there. Emily Dickinson is considered to be one of the greatest poets of the American literature. She's basically one of the greatest. We have Robert Frost in the American literature. We have Hansel Hughes. We have this guy, I'm forgetting his name. Edgar Poe. Edgar Poe is a brilliant novelist and a poet. Mark Twain with Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. I read these books. I have these books in my library here. So these are fantastic books. If anybody is really interested in American literature, you should check these books out. They're fantastic. Okay, today we're not going to talk a lot about philosophical things, literature. I'm going to talk about Christmas a little bit at the end of the video. We have 1 hour. Okay, I'm going to spend 1 hour. So we have about 26 minutes together. We have around 34 minutes left, but I'm going to cover quite a few things today. Basically, Emily Dickinson is considered one of the best American poet of all time. Okay, if you go to New York, there's a statue there. To New York, they call it the Statue of Liberty, given from by the French people to the American people, in order to celebrate democracy. Okay, so this statue, I guess, inside the statue, there is some Emily Dickinson line about liberty, pursuit of happiness, and the ideals of the American democracy. If you're really interested, you're very familiar with the United States Constitution. There's a Constitution in the United States of America, the oldest Constitution in the whole world, which is the United States Constitution. This Constitution is so fucking, I'm sorry for the language, interesting, that Emily Dickinson has something deeply interested in it. Emily Dickinson, basically the American Constitution, which is more than 200 years old. It's older even than the Constitution of England. When I say England, I mean a subpart of Great Britain, a subpart of the United Kingdom. Okay, so the United States Constitution is basically the oldest constitution in the whole world, more than 200 years ago. And the Constitution that we use in Haiti, which was fabricated in 1987, is basically there are a lot of ideas that are from the American constitutions. Even the countries that we consider to be the ideal countries in the whole world, they took most of the democratic ideas from the American Constitution. So the American Constitution is pretty big, guys. It's a very interesting constitution, and a lot of people are really interested in it, trying to understand the nature of the Constitution, trying to make sense of it, trying to see exactly how the Constitution is basically, what would you say? The Constitution is basically the people of the United States of America actually use this Constitution in order to move forward. This Constitution is more than 200 years old, and there are 10 parts of this Constitution. They call it the Bill of Rights. There's 10 parts. These 10 parts, the Bill of Rights, constitute the very first amendment of the Constitution. So they amended the Constitution in order to bring ideals, democratic ideals that they didn't have in the central document. So the first thing about the Constitution, I'm going to get back to Emily Dickinson in a second here, is that the Declaration of Independence written by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson is the third American president, and Thomas Jefferson is the third American president, and actually is is the founding fathers of the United States of America. Whenever you're thinking about the United States of America, you have to think about Thomas Jefferson. He's the one who collected all the pieces of information from Benjamin Franklin, from Thomas More, Madison, Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, etc. From this, in order to collect it to have a single Alexander Hamilton, okay, in order to have a single document called the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence, the first American document, which is prior to the Constitution, so prior to the Articles of the of Confederation, because the Constitution was not laid after the United States was constituted more than 13 states, okay, that they decided to bring this Constitution, which is very centralized, and a lot of people were afraid of it, especially that's one of the things that is going to cause the civil rights movement in the United States of America under the administration of what is his name again? I forget this name of this American president. I forget his name. Okay, anyway, it was in 18. It was from 18. He was killed in a theater by somebody who did not like his policy, and I can't I can't remember his name, and he's from Illinois, which is in the mid of the United States of America. The capital of Illinois is Springfield. I can't remember the name of the president. I remember all the pieces of information surrounding him, but I can't remember the name of the president. He was part of the first guy who participated in the Republican Party, and he won. And there is something in the history of the United States of America. One of the greatest speeches in the whole United States of America, which is the Gettysburg Address. I can't remember the name of the president. I'm kidding. No, I can't remember the name of the president. I don't know why. He was killed, and he was the one who passed the 13th Amendment in the United States of America that gave right to the black people in order to vote. Because before that, black people was not considered as a human being. In order to have black people, especially in the North and the South, you have to put at least 3 black people together in order to have basically one person. He has a memorial. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, whenever they are celebrating the anniversary of the President of the United States of America, they always put him together and the very first President of the United States of America. I forget his name. Anyway, so let's get back to but I guess I'm gonna remember it afterwards. So what I'm saying is that Emily Dickinson is a fantastic writer, is a fantastic poet, fantastic novelist, American novelist, and a fantastic what would you say? Somebody who playwriter. Okay, he has some playwriters. Basically, she was born in Amherst, Massachusetts, in 1830. She came from a well-off, educated family and a high social standing in the community. Her grandfather, Samuel Dickinson, had founded Amherst College. Emily had one brother and one sister. The children were well educated. Emily started to write poetry at an early age. She was a prolific writer who produced around 1,800 poems. Oh, that's very prolific. 1,080 poems. However, only 10 of the poems were published in her lifetime. The rest were found by her sister after the poet's death. Oh, that's so bad. Most of her work were she did not enjoy. She did not enjoy his poems being interpreted like I'm doing right now, being read, being studied by many people. That's so sad. This is what happened to a lot of authors. They produce something, and then the next generation is going to benefit of it, but they did not see how well is it. You see, it's mind blowing. It's not. It's, a lot of people are not really taking it seriously, but it's something that you have to take into consideration when somebody did not have the opportunity to see others enjoying their work. That's such a difficult time for the poet, for the writer, for anybody. Basically, I can actually see that. I can actually sense that. If I do something, for example, I just want to be maybe in the future I might be a writer, but if I write something and I didn't see like that thing being studied by others, a lot of people might be depressed just for that. A lot of people might just be depressed because their work are not being studied by others. So when your work is not being studied by others, you basically think that that's not yours, and you basically think that you were not doing something fantastic, valuable to the world. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, and however, 10 of the poems were published in her lifetime. The rest were found by her sister after the poet's death. Emily Dickinson died in 1886 after living most of her life as a recluse. Whoa, that's fantastic. So the poem that we're going to study today, we're going to talk about today, before I jump into something else, is Tell All the Truth, but Tell It Slant. That's a fantastic poem. You can read it again. I have read this poem more than 100 times. To tell you, I've read it a lot of times. So interesting, so profound. Emily Dickinson, such a beautiful, soul with beautiful writer and with a beautiful soul, and she basically depict the human. I would say the human nature with so much insight that you might say that she's a philosopher. You basically can say that. There's so much insightness in it. So insightful, the description of the human nature, that sometimes I call Emily Dickinson is just a philosopher who uses language in a very aesthetic way, with an aesthetic function, because language has different functions. Use language to communicate ideas. Use language to communicate ideas, to talk, to give pieces of information. Use language to show yourself. Okay, use language to show that you exist, like from your very perspective. You might use language to point out to something else, right? This is the referential usage of the language. You might be using language just to talk about the language itself. Like if you're gonna teach grammar, you're gonna teach English. Like I'm not teaching English now. I'm using English as a means of communication, but I'm not teaching English. Okay, if somebody does not understand English, maybe the person would not understand what I'm saying completely. Okay, because I'm not talking about English. I'm not using a meta perspective of English. So you might also use an aesthetic or literary or poetic usage of language. Like you concentrate not only on the content of what you're saying, but also the form, the significance of what you're saying, the form, the different fabrics that makes what you say, that makes the sound, the words, the ideas, right? The different things that colors your experiences in general. So language has a lot of different functions. So basically, when you say somebody is a poet, the person is not only trying to communicate an idea. Sometimes the poet is just talking about experiences, and it's exactly, most of the poems, they are here to broaden our, to deepen and broaden our sense of reality, and to make us experience things, or to experience things that we did not have the possibility to experience before. And therefore, the poet, the author of the poem, is going to trying to talk to us and let us know what is it like to be in this space, in that place. What is it like to think about something or that thing? Okay, this is the experience of the author, right? And the author has the possibility to say whatever he or she wants. Okay, it can be a man, a male, or a female, and the author is basically trying to use your mind and get you to a place, in a vivid place. Now, some authors use different style, literary style, to do that. Some author is basically just playing with words, pun of words. But some author, there's a message behind all of that. And this is what we're going to get to here. I recommend that you read literature. If you just want to check my things out, you can check this book. It's a fantastic book. Yeah, fantastic book here. I have this book with me. It's literature. See, it's written by Structure, and it's a fantastic document. I basically appreciate this document, and it's a very, 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 very anxious doc. Somebody is writing me on Facebook. I'm not receiving messages now. Okay, Lawrence Perrine. That's a fantastic book. You can really get it, and you're gonna find a lot of stuff about literature. And one of the poems that I'm going to read here is inside this book. It's one of my favorite books here. I have a lot of books about literature, but basically this book is my favorite. There's another book that I have here. I'm gonna show you here, guys. This is another one. See, literature and language. Literature and language. So it's more than 2,000 pages. So you see, it's more than 2,000 pages. So you can get these books. They're fantastic. Okay, fantastic books. Anybody who's reading literature or English literature, because if you're really interested in literature and you're speaking English, the first literature that you're going to be interested in is English literature. So you can check these books out. This one as well. It's a fantastic book. But I'm going to read the poem of Emily Dickinson, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it because I'm not interacting with anybody. And at the end of the video, I'm going to start speaking a little Creole. I am going to speak a little Creole at the end. Basically, and I'm going to say who I am supposed to be live with, what happened. Okay, let's go ahead and read the poem. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. You know what mean? What does that mean? Slant. Slant is you see, this is wide and this is slant. Wide, slant, slant, narrow. Something that is narrow. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. By Emily Dickinson. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success and circus lies, too bright for our infinite delight. The truth's superb surprise, as lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. That's a top-notch poem. I love this poem by Emily Dickinson. I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm going to read it again. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success and secret lies, too bright for our infinite delight. The truth superb surprise, as lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. Wow. What is the truth? What is the nature of truth? What is the truth? Is truth something that we created, we human created? Is there a truth out there in the universe? If I go to the planet of Mars, Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, I don't know, you name it, and I just go there, are the truths of this planet are going to be the same of the human truth, the little truth that we have in our little bubble called Earth? What is the ultimate truth? And what is the difference between metaphysical truths and social or societal truths? What is the difference between metaphysical truths and social and societal truths? That's a lot of pill to swallow. A lot of pill to swallow. There's one, before I just comment this, there's a great philosopher. His name is Immanuel Kant. I don't know if you know about this guy. I've read a lot, you know. I have this book in front of me, but I don't want to take it because this book is gonna stir up a lot of memories, and a lot of people not going to, you know, basically find themselves in it. I'm gonna postpone this book, okay, for another day. But basically, that's the book, okay. See the book? You see how big it is? I'm not gonna show you this part because here we have the title, we have everything. So this is the book. Yeah. And this is the author, Anne Scroon. So this guy has written, let me see, I have around 1,000 pages on the nature of the truth. This is a book that I've been reading for the last 1 week, for last week. Yeah, it's about 5 days that I'm reading this book. I'm still reading it. It's a fantastic book. I'm just using it. I'm comparing it with the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, which says that we cannot access the truth. What is for its own sake, we cannot access it. Immanuel Kant called that no man in his philosophy, especially what he said in his book, the critic of pure reason and critic of pragmatic reason. That's a fantastic books of philosophy. You can read them. They're amazing. I really appreciate these books, and I've been reading this book for quite a few times now. You can check them out. Philosophy of Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher, one of the greatest of all time. But what I'm really wondering here is that what is the nature of the truth, and is there a difference between the metaphysical truths and the societal and social truths? But I don't want to get too metaphysical here, too philosophical here, because we can spend a lot of time talking about these things. They're so profound. I just want to talk about the social truths, basically that Emily Dickinson is basically tackling here. This truth she's talking about is what we construct as reality, right? And a great philosopher called that the veracity of the language, of word, of speech, right? So what we agree as human beings to be true, okay? We agree that I'm not going to use drinking water. We agree that going to school is basically one way to differentiate yourself from others. If you go to school, you go to university, you go to school and you go to university, that's one of the ways, because you have acquired a lot of ideas, cultural ideas, and they can help to be social, to be part of society, and also to interact at different social scale, different social understanding and cognitive developments, that you have this amazing ability to talk about things in a different way. That does not mean going to school or going to university is the ultimate step. I guess that going to university, going to school is the beginning, okay, of understanding reality. But I'm not going to get into that. But what I really want to say is that Ellen Dickinson, because the truth, if you use the classic Greek philosophy, is the truth is the conformity of reality, what we perceive as reality. For example, this is reality, this is reality, this is a reality, and I see it, I construct it, even though I constructed it. When I say I mean I'm talking about human beings. It's a Wi-Fi, little Wi-Fi cable you can use as a router. This is reality. I'm just taking this as an example here, and just forget about the fact that it was constructed, okay? And then I just want to point to that as a reality, and I'm using language, I'm using word, I'm using linguistic code, to talk about this, right? I'm using a linguistic code to talk about this in a different way, and people are just going to be using the same thing. Okay, if I say router, and some other people are going to suggest to refer to this as router. If I say book, okay, even though it was constructed, just put away the idea that it was constructed by a human being, but just get to the pure present here. Get to the pure present here. Get to the pure thing that we have here, which is a book. Okay, and a book, there's a reality. There's a reality, which is a book. It can be here. It is here. Where's the book? It is not here. But when I use the word book, you still know, you still have an idea what I am talking about. Okay, and you basically use this word, use this code in order to refer to a reality constructed, yes, previously constructed by mankind. I know, it was previously constructed by mankind. So basically, I use this linguistic code in order to, I just put this etiquette on it to refer to it, to differentiate it from other things in reality, other things that are going to be created in reality, other things that we are going to be, that we have to distinguish in reality, and other things that matter in reality. Because basically, when something does not matter, we don't have a lot of words we don't have words to refer to them. We basically, we don't know. We just use them. We just use, for example, let me take a little example, which is very important before I get to this, is that in Haiti is a rainy country. Has a rainy season. There are 4 seasons in the whole world. We have spring, summer, autumn or fall, and winter. So now we're in winter. In Haiti, we don't have that. Okay, Haiti is such a tropical country, which is in the middle of the tropics. Haiti does not have 4 seasons. Haiti basically two, I would say 2 weather, which is the rainy season and sunny seasons. Now, it's not a rainy season. It's not raining, but it's not cold. It's cool. It's good. The word in Haiti, because we don't have a lot to say about cold, hail. Not a lot of Haitian people know the word hail. Some people know the word snow. The reason they know the word snow is because that they saw it in a book, or they heard about it from somebody who lives in Canada and France and Europe, basically, or in North America. Okay, when I say North America, I'm talking about the United States of America. Some parts of the United States of America, basically those that are in the West, like California, Washington, Portland. What else? Like if you go to New Mexico, you go to Arizona, you go to Nevada, Idaho, you go even in the middle of the United States, like Michigan, Kansas, Missouri, Alabama. All these states of the United States of America, basically it's cold. It's different from Haiti, right? They're different. There are different seasons there. So the word snow for Haitian people is just it's not that solid in his brain, in his nervous system, because Haitian people, somebody who does not travel, basically monolingual in Haiti, and it's very difficult for him to understand the word snow. Very, very, very difficult to understand this word. It's very, very difficult. And this word does not have that solid, tangible tangible thing that a lot of people in Canada can really experience. It's very different for somebody who lives in Canada. That person is basically living in Canada. The person is gonna have a daily relationship with the snow, whereas in Haiti you can't really have a daily relationship with the snow because you don't have snow in Haiti, basically, and it's very difficult to say that somebody who lives in Haiti is gonna have a fantastic, understanding of snow. That's why in Canada, most of the people there are more than 30 words. I was reading an article about words in Canada, especially the difference between the Canadian English and American English. A way with word, you can check it out on the internet. They said that there are more than 30 words to refer to snow, different color, different shape, different sizes, etc., etc. So language is a very tricky thing, and it really deeply connected with reality. And basically, a lot of people now go into reality. A lot of people see reality, what we call reality, what's out there that is not us, right? As a personal, limited being, language is a tool to see that reality, to construct that reality, to have a perception, a little limited and petty understanding of what's out there, right? And we call it reality. Okay, it's not only for us. Somebody who lives in the United States is going to have the same thing. There's a linguistic code. It's going to use it in order to decode that reality. And we in Haiti, we have Haitian Creole. We're going to use it in order to depict that reality as well. So it's not about like which language. I know that there are some languages that this is Daniel. Daniel is writing me on Facebook. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Yeah, thank you so much, man. So I really appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, there are so many like ways like we can talk about reality. So many ways, that's why there are so many languages to depict what is reality. What is reality? Because for some philosophers, there's nothing out there. For others, there are just constructions, languages, mental constructions, like you name it. There's so many things out there. So the truth is very tricky to get. It is the conformity of reality and what you say. So reality is not well constructed. We don't know what reality is, and the code that we use to put an etiquette on things they're not static. First, they evolve through times, and they are the diversity and variety of languages and a variety of languages all around the world. So the truth is so difficult to get. It's so difficult to get to the bottom of the truth. So difficult to get to the bottom of the truth. Whereas Emily Dickinson is telling us that we can get to the bottom of the truth. And she said that tell the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circus lies. When you lie, success in circus lies. Too bright for infirm delight. The truth superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. Wow, what's a beautiful line from Ellen Dickinson. So Ellen Dickinson is telling us that, the truth, there's a saying says that in French, c'est la vérité blesse in French. Like, whenever somebody tells the truth, like the truth that we're supposed to call it, it's gonna hurt. It hurts. But I always say in the country that the truth kills. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It kills. The real truth. I'm not gonna say what it is now today. Maybe another time I want to say what it is. It kills. It kills who you are. It kills your identity. It kills your perception of reality. It kills your lens of seeing reality. You see, I'm seeing reality here. I use a nervous system in order to get reality. And I it's kind of see that things are tangible around me, right? Things are kind of tangible, but I don't even know. It might not be that. It might not be that. It might be just a construction of the mind. What is the nature of fear? A lot of people may ask, what is fear? Let me take a very common example. Yeah, today is a holiday, guys. I can speak for 30 minutes more because it's already 9:58. But I'm gonna take 30 minutes just to cover my point here. Let's take a little example. When I was basically, but let's say when I was like 17, when I was 16, I was class at school. I finished my school when I was 18. I finished school. When I was in school, like things that happen to all of us, like gentlemen, it can happen to girls. But in Haiti, the culture, only in Haiti, but the world culture does not give opportunity to girls to express their feelings, to express what they like, what they want to do in their lives, with whom they want to be in their life, etc. What happened is that when I was little, even at my very beginning age at the university, like 2015, 2016, like 4 or 5 years ago, I know a lot of guys are suffering from this, right? There's a beautiful girl. Let's get to a little pragmatic. Let's talk about girls now. There's a beautiful girl in the classroom, or there's a beautiful girl at the university. You just want to approach her because she looks perfect for you. You want to talk to her and et cetera, et cetera. And you like her profile, you like the way she talks, you like the way she carries herself, you like the way she interacts with others, you like the way she uses language, you like the way she talks and speaks, you like the way she looks at you, the way she tells jokes, etc., etc. So you like a lot of stuff about this girl. You just want to be basically in a relationship. In a relationship with this girl. You just want to, because you fall in love. You can fall in love, you can fall out of love, right? You fall in and out. And basically in English, the preposition in the country of out. Okay. So you fall in love with this girl. You just want to be with this girl. But there is something inside of you. Basically, you go to here in your heart. You're not going to feel it in your head. Basically, it's in your head, but you feel it right here in your heart that you cannot talk to that girl because you're fearful. You're fearful. You cannot talk to the girl. See? You're fearful. You cannot talk to the girl. What happened is that a lot of guys are going to follow up. They're going to do the same thing. They're not going to talk to the girl and they're just going to be. Now, what is that fear? Because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. She's not just a monster. Otherwise, you wouldn't like her. There's nothing there, literally. But you construct your own barrier, your own narrative around her. Okay? And then you're telling yourself all sort of stories not to be capable of being appreciated and liked, even loved by this wonderful girl. And then you're fearful. You're fearful, you have a lot of anxiety, okay? And you cannot approach a girl. So where's that fear? Is that fear in the object? I'm sorry if I use object for people, but what I mean by object is something that does not have, okay, we suppose that cannot speak, okay? And then I'm using, the perspective of this guy, and was projecting all kind of his perception of this girl, that the girl does not have the power to answer back. That's the thing. The same thing happened to, if you read the Bible, Adam and Eve, from the very beginning of the story, is that Adam had all the linguistics abilities. He's the one who's going to name things, and he's the one who's going to talk to Eve. And Eve did not, from the very beginning of Genesis, Eve did not have the possibility to talk. And if you read the Quran of the Muslim, the story of Mushla, a lot of stories basically in the Quran is basically the same thing. So what I'm saying is that the fear that's here, that you can feel, you can literally feel the fear. Sorry. That you cannot talk to that girl because you think that this girl is not, I don't know what would say, you're not faithful to this girl. This girl has, I don't know, long hair, or that is too beautiful for you, etc., etc. You see the nature of that fear? That's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the fear. It's something that you construct. So basically, the thing that keeps us from seeing reality for what it is it's fear. It's fear. It is fear. It is fear. And I'm going to get to that in a minute here when I'm going to talk about the Bhagavad Gita books. I'm going to get about it. I'm going to get to it in a moment. But Emily Dickinson is telling we have to tell the truth, but we're not supposed to tell the truth in a very obvious way, because there's a difference between veracity, sincerity, and authenticity. When you're authentic, when you're sincere. Authenticity is basically when you're saying everything that you have in your heart, that can hurt someone, and you might know that the thing is going to hurt that person, and you say it. That's authenticity. Whereas sincerity is not saying what is, but saying in order to match with the state, the internal state of the person that you're going to address. Okay, you see the nuance here. See the nuance. Helen Dickinson said that we have to tell the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circus lies. Lies. A lot of people are demonizing lies. Basically, lies is the fabric of society. I was reading a German scientist the other day, 1 year ago. Yeah, and they followed with a documentary basically on lies, and they tracked the lies from animals, human beings, and trying to see the function of lies, and trying to see when people first started to lie, and they see that lies has a very survival and functional usage in society, not only human society, but the whole species of society. In all animals that they ever happen to detect what lies is, they see that it's all about survival and strategy to survive. Okay, when a kid, I can say that, when a kid starts to lie, is that when a kid is beginning to be crafty. The kids are beginning to be shrewd, like the word in Haitian Creole, intelligent, right? Not intelligent, but shrewd. Okay, you're astucious. Okay, you're crafty. Like in the Bible, the serpent is very crafty, intelligent but very crafty, right? So lies is the fabric of reality. Okay, lies is actually the fabric of reality. There's no life without lies. Yeah, there's no life without lies. If there isn't lies, there's no life, and there's death. Death and life becomes intertwined. There's no death. You cannot see them. What if when you die and somebody say that you go to hell, somebody say that you go to heaven, or somebody say that you just die, you finish? What if it is a lie? What if it is a lie? Have you ever contemplated that idea of contemplation, the idea of death? What is it? The nature of it, the function of it, and what it is exactly? The history behind it. You take science, philosophy, put them together with theology, positive theology actually, not theology as a dogma, okay? And trying to understand the nature of lies, the nature of reality with lies. The nature of death. Yeah. Is death different from love? It's different. It's very difficult for us. I'm getting a little bit mystical here. I know a lot of people now going to can't swallow that pill. If not reading a lot about mysticism, like thinking about reality deeply, you're not gonna be understand what I'm saying. It's difficult to understand exactly reality from a very metaphysical perspective. You're not really down to understand reality for its own sake. So you should be down for that. You should be down to understand reality for its own sake, and you go after reality. You go after reality, just looking for reality everywhere. Tell the truth, but tell slant. Success in circus lies, because you're gonna be telling lies. You're telling yourself lies all the time. They say that 88, at least people tell themselves lies 85 a day, 85 times a day. We tell lies. No. Whether to people or to ourselves, 85 times a day. Yeah. just the scientific studies. Go to the internet and check out WDW documentary on lies. You're gonna see it. It's a fantastic scientific community from Germany. They studied lies in animals and human beings, and trying to see the difference between the two, etc. So you're gonna see what it is. So lies are, I'm not gonna say they're spontaneous, and they might be necessary for survival. Okay. Too bright for our infirm delight, the truth superb surprise. Again, what I said, the truth does not hurt, but it kills. It kills your identity. Because life is basically a sequence of death and death and birth and death, rebirth and death. So you're always dying. You're always dying, and you're always being born. Like this conversation that I'm having right now, anybody's going to watch this conversation. The person is going to die, and the person is going to be born again. That's what happened in the Christian mythology when they say that Christ died and get back to earth. That's basically that. A part of you is going to die. Your old ideology, the thing that you believe to be true, that's gonna die one day, and that's basically evolution. That's basically evolution. So, but if you keep telling lies all the time, you're just gonna lock in a paradigm. You're gonna be in a paradigm lock. Not gonna move anywhere. You're just gonna stay here forever. And misery is gonna be your reward. You will never know what is it to be happy in life. There's no beatitude in this. No beatitude. As lightning to the children eased. So when you see a lightning in the sky, you see it's a metaphor to the truth. Lightning is a metaphor to the truth. Okay? When it's a lightning in the sky, you believe that, whoa, that's the truth. That's what it is. What is? Because light is what is, right? And remember that darkness is the first thing that men begin to fear. Okay? As lightning to the children is, with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. So, there's a wonderful quote by Confucius. Confucius, one of the greatest Chinese writer and philosopher. He said that ignorance is the night of the mind, or the darkness of the mind. A night with no moon or star. See? How's it a night with no moon or star? That's ignorance. If you're not telling the truth, we're gonna live in an ignorant world. And when I mean ignorant, I really mean that not only ignorant that you don't know and you don't give a you don't give a, I'm not, you're gonna give a shit about this universe. But I'm saying ignorance in a very cruel sense. When somebody kills somebody else, when somebody uses vandalism, burglary, all these sort of things, these are ignorance. It's all done due to ignorance, a lack of consciousness. Not knowledge, but consciousness. There's a difference between consciousness and knowledge. Because you can have a bunch of ideas about something and you believe that's knowledge because it's based in fact, it's based on scientific studies, but it is not consciousness. Okay? So what I'm going to say is that ignorance to be equal to what we call human beings evil. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that ignorance, in a sense that ignorance is just the fact that you have a lack of consciousness and then you're not able, you can't do better because you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what you're doing. But ignorance, basically, you are actually causing a lot of death, a lot of misery to the world. That's ignorance as well. A lot of people just, when they talk about ignorance, they think about knowledge. Ignorant, you're either ignorant or you have a lot of pieces of knowledge. You're knowledgeable or ignorant. No, that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of people who have lots of pieces of knowledge. They're ignorant or they're an idiot. Okay, I'm talking about consciousness, the very fabric of the whole universe, what it is, and knowledge is part of consciousness. Knowledge, and we have reflection on the knowledge you have. That's conscious. It's a very tricky thing, and scientists have a hard time defining what consciousness is, and we don't know what's the nature of consciousness. There's a lot of people working in this field. I can give you a lot of names in the top of my head. Like if you go to the internet, you search for Sam Harris, who's a great neurologist and philosopher as well. He has wrote a lot of books. He has written a lot of books. Recently, he wrote a book on the nature of conscious politics. They can't define what consciousness is. Consciousness is a very mysterious word, term, and concept. That in French, we say conscience in French, but it's a little different. Conscience in French, we say conscientiousness in English. It's part of consciousness. Okay, it's part of consciousness. So the truth is always going to be it's always going to dazzle. It's always going to dazzle. We're always going to dazzle by the truth. But if we are the truth, we are part of the truth. We're no longer going to be dazzled by the truth. When there's a car just approaching you, and then like this happened all the time in Haiti. A car is coming over, and as you're walking by, and the light of the car, okay, in the rear or in the front, dazzle you. You don't see anything. But if you are the light, how's the light going to dazzle you? There's no chance. There's zero chance. So the truth is a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult concept to understand, to philosophically, scientifically, epistemologically, etc. Because basically speaking, the truth is the conformity between language. Okay, when I use language, that does not mean English, French, Spanish. Any means of communication, and what we call reality. Okay, and a lot of people are saying that reality, language, and thinking, they're all interconnected, and they're all intertwined. So, what is the truth? Now, the truth that Emily Dickinson is talking about here is different. We're talking about the social truths. Our responsibility to construct a society. Okay, let's take an example of Haiti. I'm Haitian. I'm really deeply moved by, I'm not going to use politics in my my podcast here and my lives. I'm not going to be talking about politics that much, but I want to say that let's take Haiti as an example. I'm not going to say but there's hardly a constructed truth in our society. Everything, basically, virtually, is due to destruction. And furthermore, the truth is virtual, and anything that passes, this is the truth. Any illusion is the truth. Okay, any illusion that everybody believes in is the truth. Or one person believes in. Once the person has power, financial power, political power, and economical power, and what else? And media. Okay, a lot of people are going to give in to that perspective of truth, and the person is going to basically believe that that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the ultimate truth. There, we get it right here, man. And they just believe that nobody's out the questioning these things. And remember what Plato said in his book, which is the Republic and Meno. They said Meno. Plato said that we're always going to be dazzled by the truth, and the truth kills. The only one who's going to survive and see the truth for what's on six is a philosopher. Philosopher is not any ancient Greece perspective. Philosopher is not somebody who's reading text and all that, but anybody who is accepting life and is trying to make the best of it and trying to rationalize his position in life, and also someone who's trying to articulate his position, okay, by scrutinizing all different or the majority of other positions in the whole world. So philosopher is someone who has a huge task. It's not a scientist, okay? It's a huge task. That's a philosopher. I consider anybody who's watching this can be a philosopher. I am a philosopher in the sense that, not a philosopher in the sense that somebody who's reading Nietzsche, who's reading Hegel, Marx, etc. Even though I am doing them because there are certain things in these philosophers that are basically some ideas that are basically intriguing and that are very valuable to start with, because if you're reading them, they're little less work that you're going to be doing, because you're going to have a bunch of stuff to question reality. So it's always good to go back to ancient Greece philosophy or to philosophers to read philosophy and to try to understand the nature of reality and etc. There's a great book that I really want to that I'm going to suggest to you guys, but I want to finish with Emily Dickinson. Basically, what Emily Dickinson is saying here is that the truth is always going to win. What we construct as the truth is always going to win. But if there's no solid understanding or solid thing or solid construction of truth, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to get nowhere, man, because we don't know where we're going. Basically, we just live for the sake of its own sake. It's not even survive. We just live in darkness, in obscurity, and everybody's sleeping. Everybody is sleeping. Everybody is sleeping. So yeah, that's the work of Emily Dickinson, guys, and I'm really happy to be with you today. It's almost 10:30. I'm gonna take a break now. I'm gonna go because I need to. I'm gonna sleep out in a while. Basically, today is December 24th. This is live on Facebook. I'm gonna upload this video on YouTube. Maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I have two lives that I did on YouTube that I did on Facebook that I'm going to upload on YouTube. If you're really interested in my work, you can go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also subscribe to my page here on Facebook, which is self-taught polyglot. I have two different YouTube channels. One is making self-making apparatus, which is basically a YouTube channel that I'm going to have where I'm going to discuss in English and French and Portuguese and Spanish and Italian and Haitian Creole as well, different topics about reality, philosophical, scientific, and epistemological ideas. And I have a YouTube channel, which is basically the one that most people know that I only have, which is Self-Taught Polyglot on YouTube, where I basically talk about languages, linguistics, polyglot, multilingualism, managed languages in general, and the languages that I'm learning right now. I share my ideas and how I learned them, etc. And how do I reach? How do I surpass? How do I surpass different levels in when I'm learning a language? So I share these ideas because I'm a polyglot myself. I learn language basically every day, even though I stopped for about 15 days, I'm sorry, due to the velocity of things happening that were happening in my life in the last two weeks. I'm gonna get back at the end of this year, and I'm gonna have a resolution. Maybe I'm gonna share my linguistic resolution to you guys. If you're really interested in learning languages, maybe you can basically join me. So Self-Taught Polyglot is a project about language learning. It's not only that, language learning, linguistics, that's one part of me, okay, that I'm deeply passionate about. And it's my first passion, languages. There's another passion in me, which is science, okay? Science, general, like talk about science and scientific studies and scientific method or scientific ways of understanding reality. And there's another part of it, which is literature and philosophy, epistemology and mysticism or spirituality. That's the I can say that I have been interested in these two last things, spirituality and mysticism, for the last 2 or 1 year. I've read quite a few books, but I'm still reading. That's my last passion for now. The second podcast, which is self-making apparatus, this is where I'm going to glue everything together. Just put languages away, but I'm going to glue everything together from from spirituality, philosophy, literature, etc. For example, what I'm doing now is that I'm taking a literature text, part of literature, and I'm putting it in a philosophical context, and I'm trying to talk about life in general and what it means and what it is, etc. Yada yada yada. So you can go to YouTube, check my YouTube channel, which is Self-Taught Polyglot, and you can also go to YouTube, check Self-Making Apparatus. It's a very little channel. I haven't published yet, but I hope to publish it in the future, because this is where I'm going to upload these videos that are very metaphysical. I'm going to upload them in Self-Taught Polyglot right now, but these videos that are not about language learning, I'm going to put them specifically in Making Sense Apparatus, Sense Making Apparatus podcast. I'm going to put it in YouTube. This is going to be my YouTube channel, and I'm going to construct and deconstruct reality, ideologies, etc. We're going to be talking about Marxism, socialism, capitalism, feminism, anti-feminism, MGTOW. I don't know if you heard about this movement. I'm going to talk about philosophy. I'm going to talk about life, existential crisis, spirituality. I'm going to talk about all these important things that I guess that are very important in our lives. So go to the YouTube, check and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Self-Taught Polyglot. Share this YouTube channel to anybody who's interested in understanding and questioning and investigating reality. So this is a very interesting work that we're doing here. So you can go and check it out. It's an amazing thing, okay? So I want to finish here, and I hope in the future I'm going to talk about Rousseau, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, his book on nature. I'm going to do this maybe in Haitian Creole. I don't know, maybe. I'm going to talk about Voltaire. I'm going to talk about Immanuel Kant. I'm going to talk about Hans Kuhn, this book. Like, I'm reading it right now. Interesting. It's an interesting book. Yeah. So yeah, I want to talk about all these things. I have a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. I'm really passionate about what I'm doing. Really passionate about philosophy. Really passionate about life in general. So I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and take care and do everything that's possible. So if you want to rewatch this video, you can go to my Facebook account. I'm going to upload it. I'm going to re-upload it there. I'm going to upload it. Or if you really want to support me, is what you have to do is you have to wait until I post it on YouTube, because I'm going to post them on YouTube, which is my YouTube channel, and then you can subscribe, and you can like, you can share, you can follow, you can comment, okay? You can comment, you can ask questions, you can do basically everything you want to do with this video. It's gonna be on my YouTube channel, self-taughtpolyglot. You can check it out, guys. Okay. You can, if you want to ask me something, you can just leave a comment below this video on Facebook and ask the questions, and just move on. Okay. So it's been a pleasure for me to be here. My name is Raul Valentino Jean. I am someone who's passionate about understanding reality. So I hope you are as well. Okay. So I'm gonna leave you right here. The live is done. I'm sorry. I hope that everybody's fine. And there are some people that are watching me. About how many people are watching me now? Before I put it in, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people are watching me now. So that's crazy. Anyway, and a lot of people are going to watch it after when I post it on Facebook. So thank you a lot. So take care. It's been nice, and have a great day. And it's gonna be Christmas in 1 hour and a half. Yeah, 1 hour and a half. It's gonna be Christmas. It's gonna be Christmas Day. We're part of the Christmas time, but it's gonna be Christmas Day. And I just take it as an opportunity to say Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. All right. Although I'm going to upload all the stuff. So take care. There's another live I'm gonna have tomorrow. Okay. Take care. Thank you.